Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us. The views, opinions, and technical analysis presented during this webinar are those of Stepan and are not necessarily those of UL. The appearance of this content on UL sites does not constitute an endorsement by UL or its affiliates. Today's webinar is Mastering Modern Hair Care, Formulate for the Trends That Matter, Part 1. It is presented by Stepan. Your presenters today are Renata Batikis, Global Marketing Manager for Personal Care, Kumran Lachmanan, Senior Consumer Scientist, and Fernando Robles, R&D Chemist. My name is Derek Betcher with UL, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. Please send us your questions by typing them in the question box located at the bottom of your screen. We are recording today's event, and we'll send you a link by email when it's been posted to ulprospector.com. Now I'd like to hand it over to Renata. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, Derek, thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Very excited to have you all around the world. Today, we're going to be talking about those trends that matter and within hair care. Particularly in this part, we'll be talking about shampoos. For today's agenda, we're going to start with the global hair care market dynamics, look through the data, what are the trends, what's important in today's market. We'll dive into the popular shampoo claims that exist both on the bottle, on the front and the back, and then connect them to strategies for aligning your product development with those of the consumer. So at the end of the day, that's the most important piece to getting our products off the shelf. Those objectives that we want you to walk away with from today's webinar are those key market insights. We're going to show you science-backed substantiation within Fernando and Kumran's sections, and leave you with empowering your formulation needs within shampoo product development. With that, we'll get started and explore the world of our modern hair care as our introduction. Let's start with the numbers. Shampoo and hair care specifically at a broad category is second to none. Well, almost. When we think about the global sales within beauty and personal care of the retail value. So you can see that skincare is always going to be the top. It is the largest category, but hair care is second, and it is growing. The purple bars are the retail value RSP in US $1 million, with hair care just shy of 93 billion. But its growth in the green bars, in the green line, you can see, is at about 4%, so higher than skincare, but maybe not as high as some of the other categories like fragrances and dermocosmetics, which is why today we're going to focus on that hair care piece. And it's exciting to be building within the second biggest category within the global industry. When it comes to the segments, shampoo is number one. It reigns supreme in that hair care hierarchy by segment in global sales. Again, similar graph where we've got retail value of shampoos is just shy of $50 million globally in terms of the retail value. And its growth is at a nice steady current year value of 3.4%. Second is conditioners, followed by the different segments within hair care. Something like salon professional has a very nice growth rate. So you'll see some of the claims that we talk about today can be aligned with both shampoos and the different types of segments within hair care. So we're excited to start with shampoos. It's the biggest category. So we've got a big area of growth within hair care for that. We want to take a second and talk about some of the key trends globally within hair care. There are many. We've picked the top three, but certainly within these three, we see that new era of hair care. It's talking about smart and personal. The first trend that we're going to highlight is skinification, a term that has popped up a few years ago already, and that concept of adopting skincare ingredients, their formats, and claims in other types of categories. Certainly in hair care, we also see that growing in rinse-off categories of body wash, so that appeal of bringing in a skincare ingredient and its associated claims to the rinse-off categories. This certainly speaks to personalization and efficacy, our second trend. It's about creating tailored solutions with data-backed claims. So whether that claim is from a skincare ingredient, folks now are really looking towards that substantiation. We just don't want the different types of marketing language that we can use on the bottle. What are the ingredients that we can put into products on the shelf that are substantiated? Kumran and Fernando will talk about that in our second half of the webinar. And then finally, premiumization ties into both of the trends that we just talked about. It's that willingness to invest in hair health and self-care. It's not just about skincare. Now we're really taking the time to have many different products that align with our hair care. You can see things like scalp care popping up, being more popular. We want to take the time and have quality, again, through claims, but also spending maybe just a little bit more to get what we want in our hair care needs. Now that we've gone through the different types of trends, what about the new launches? Whether those are products you all are developing and putting on the shelf, but what does that look like for shampoos specifically? And what we can see is that premium is growing and shampoo dominates hair care. On the left, you can see between 2020 and 2024, global new product launches. That could be either a new product, maybe a different variety or range. We've changed up the formulation, but each bar within that given year has over 6,500 launches. And more than 90% over the past 5 years have been shampoos, with conditioners, hair treatments being very small, they're at the top. So it's a very prevalent category and a lot of fun that we can have with different claims that we're going to talk about today. Secondly, if we look at that premiumization that we just talked about with the trend, prestige and masstige launches are overtaking mass over the past 5 years as well. You can see that steady growth of those two combined categories, with 2024 having the highest growth and overtaking mass, or what we can think about the standard types of shampoos we'll see on the shelf. Again, that's that data showing folks are looking for quality and maybe shampooing a little bit less, but wanting that substantiated claim, a shampoo that's going to work, and willing to pay just a little bit more, which very much aligns with the types of claims that we can find on these shampoo bottles. So if we look at hair care products overall globally, all of these new launches that we just saw on the previous slide are bursting with so many different types of claims. Each of these graphs could have had 10 to 20 if we wanted to spend extra time, but we're showcasing the top 6, both within every single type of region. Number 1 across the regions is moisturizing and hydrating. This speaks to that skinification trend that we see. We're bringing in claims, language that we typically associate with skincare and bringing them into our hair care products. Damaged hair is second across the board, and then we have items like vitamin mineral fortified, anti-dandruff, anti-hair loss, exfoliating, talking to that damaged hair perspective. So it's very important as we think about what are the ingredients that we need to bring into our products that can back up these types of claims that consumers are looking for and that are prevalent in today's market. This is our opportunity, Derek. I'd like your help. I want to hear from you. So we see that there's lots of different shampoos showing up in today's market. How many are you working on just within this year? Is it 1 to 2? Is it 3 to 5? Are you working on more than 5? It's just a ton going on. Or you're here today, you want to learn, you're working on something else, but you're really looking to understand a little bit more about hair care. How much are you helping with those numbers here in 2025? Take a second to submit your responses. The results are coming in. Thank you for taking the time. We've got a good, almost 50% of you all fall in the 1 to 2, 3 to 5 category. So you're working on them. Glad you all are with us, and we'll help you with your shampoo development. All right. Thank you, Derek. So what does that mean? You as formulators, you as product developers, we see that challenge with crafting shampoos that satisfy the whole wheel of wishes that consumers have when it comes to their products and what they expect in their shampoos. It's not just about cleaning. There's so many different elements. So we can see those tried and true claims like sulfate-free, eco-friendly that speak to the sustainability needs of our consumers. Or we can look at the different types of moisturization, maybe damaged hair, the power of scent detangling. And we're today going to focus in on a large majority of these and show you how Stepan's techniques can get you there. Now that we know the different types, what are your challenges? This is our second opportunity for a pop-up. Take the time. Is it moisturizing? Is it anti-frizz, color protecting, detangling, hair breakage? Maybe it's something else. What is your most challenging aspect? You can select all of the above, maybe just a few. We want to be sure we connect to those challenges that we see in the market today. Give you all a second. Thank you all for responding. Looks like we're about equal across the board, with hair breakage and anti-frizz, the top two. Fantastic. Thank you all. We'll be sure to connect with those challenges throughout the presentation. All right, to finish off, what does that look like? How are we going to break down today's webinar? We want to show you that whatever part of your shampoo game that you're in, Stepan has those proven formulation techniques and substantiation that connect that consumer claim to the ingredient, but not forgetting that middle piece of product developers. What does that mean from a formulator need? It needs that data. So for an example, if we start with clarifying, clarifying popped up a few years ago. Folks were using less of the types of shampoos. Maybe this is that very strong cleaning shampoo you use once a week to get rid of all that gunk that builds up. And so clarifying shampoos are prevalent in the market today. What does that mean to a formulator? That really gets to great cleaning. We want to make sure that whatever shampoo we're using once a week removes that dirt very well. So as a formulator, we need to connect clarifying to great cleaning to that ingredient. So if we take our pseudo Post-it, there are many different types of ingredients out in the market today. Well, here at Stepan, what we're going to do in this webinar is showcase that top choice to make it easy to have that substantiated data. For great cleaning, we know tried and true ether sulfates are absolutely prevalent and work well in these clarifying shampoos and can show the data. That's going to be the structure for today. So what I will do to start off our formulation journey, I'm going to hand it off to Kumaran with our first section. Kumaran?
Thanks, Renata. Hello, everyone. Now we are moving to the next section, which is formulating for moisturizing, antiseptic, and damaged hair. If you see claims like moisturizing or hydrating, damaged hair like air protection, air repair are some of the top claims in hair care products. So to support these, to support the formulators need to achieve these claims, I'll be introducing an interesting Stepan product called Alpha Step PC48 by highlighting some of the key properties and benefits of Alpha Step PC48. So now we look into the physical properties of Alpha Step PC48. So basically, Alpha Step PC48 is a sulfate-free surfactant that made of blends of monosodium and disodium of 2-sulfur laurate. So these blends will provide a balanced performance between mildness and cleanness. Since it's a transparent liquid at room temperature with active of around 38%, so it is easy to handle and easy to formulate it. So no any heating or no special techniques are required during the formulation. Compared to other sulfate-free surfactants, Alpha Step PC48 is unique in terms of foaming, whereby it produces fluffy and flash foam with good rinsability. So it can be rinsed off easily without leaving any residues. That means it is highly suitable to be used in formulating products that require high foaming. In case if you are a formulator and you are looking for palm alternatives, Alpha Step PC48 can be an ideal option because it's derived from coconut oil with 94% bio-based. Another key benefits of Alpha Step PC48 that I'm going to highlight throughout today's presentation is its excellent hot water tolerance compared to other surfactants, including SLS and SLES. So if you take any anionic surfactants, especially those that have poor hot water tolerance, it will bind with polyvalent ions like calcium ion or magnesium ion in hot water, which leads to a formation of precipitate, eventually makes the surfactant lose its function rate, cause significant drops in cleaning performance. This is applicable for most of anionic surfactants, including SLS and SLES, but not the case for Alpha Step PC48, because Alpha Step PC48 has excellent hot water tolerance. You may wonder what makes Alpha Step PC48 so unique, why it has excellent hot water tolerance compared to other surfactants. For that questions, you need to refer to the chemical structure of Alpha Step PC48. So if you see the picture on your left-hand side, shows the chemical structure and the micelle arrangement of Alpha Step PC48. Alpha step PC48 is made of C12, C18 carbon chain. And if you notice, the orange or yellowish circle is a sulfonic group, and the gray circle is ester group. So the presence of ester group near to the sulfonic group provide a steric hindrance that makes the positively charged polyvalent ions like a magnesium or calcium ions become not preferable to bind with negatively charged sulfonic groups. So this prevents alpha step PC48 from precipitate in hot water and allow it to stay functional even in hot water condition. So next, we see more clean data associated with hot water tolerance of alpha step PC48. So the figure on left shows the foaming properties of alpha step PC48 in hot water as compared with SLES. This test was done using Rosemile foam tester, and the foam height was measured at 0 minute and up to 5 minutes. So for more details about the test methods, you can refer to the notes on bottom left. So we all know SLES can foam very well in normal condition, but what about in hot water, especially very high water hardness? Is it still can foam? The answer is no. The foaming of SLES will be affected significantly, as you can see from the figure on your left hand side. But on the other hand, regardless of type of water, either hot water or DI water, the foaming of alpha step will remain unchanged. Even you can see from the figure, alpha step PC48 has significantly higher foam as compared with SLES. Similarly, for sensory evaluation, the figure on your right hand side, alpha step PC48 has better score in all the tested attributes compared with SLES. So it's alpha step PC48 provide good flash form, good rinsability, good air sensory fit, makes it suitable ideal for personal care products like shampoo, where good amount of lathering and sensory is desired even in hot water environment. Derek, can you pull out the first pop-up video of alpha step PC48, please? Yeah, thanks, Derek. So if you see this video shows the foaming of alpha step PC48. So if you notice, like what I mentioned previously, alpha step PC48 has light, fluffy, and flex foam. So it can lather easily with a few rubs, even in hot water environment. So, every time I show this video to the customer, the first question the customer asks is, wow, fantastic. Alpha step PC48 can create a lot of lather. That's nice. So what about the rinsability? Do I need to use a lot of water to rinse away this lot of foam? The answer is no. Because if you see the foam texture of alpha step PC48, it has bigger and loose foam, which will flow easily from your air or from your body. So no worries about the rinsability because it has excellent rinsability. Okay. So now we see more claims. So the figure on left-hand side is about moisture loss prevention of alpha step PC48. So as I mentioned earlier, moisturizing or hydrating is one of the top claims for many hair care products out there in the market. So we talk about moisture loss. So we want minimum amount of moisture to be released from the air to prevent our air become dry and freezing. So lower is better. So before the test, the air traces was washed with shampoo and hot water, dried at room temperature overnight. Then the dried air was kept in the oven at 45 degrees Celsius. Then the moisture loss was calculated at different time intervals. So the pink line represents the moisture loss for air treated with alpha step PC48, and the purple line is those treated with SLES. So over the 30 minutes of test, alpha step PC48 shows lesser moisture loss compared to SLES because of lower moisture loss. Alpha step PC48 can contribute to a softer and smoother feel and helps to reduce the air dryness over the time, making it ideal choice for formulators seeking for superior hydrating benefits. Second claim is anti-static, as you can see from the figure from right hand side. So for these studies, we only as visual representative data. So SLES, it's sulfate-based surfactants. It harsh, it's dry. So it can make your air become dry and can induce more static. Meanwhile, alpha-stat PC48 is sulfate-free, mild, and it has excellent hard water tolerance. So it can prevent the metal ions from hard water to deposit on your air and can make your air less dry and cause lesser static buildups. Then the next claim is about air breakage. So this is another top claim for the shampoo products. So as you can see from the left-hand side figure, it shows the air breakage data upon flat ironing or air straightening. As usual, lower air breakage is better. So before the test, the air traces were treated, dried at room temperature overnight. For the air breakage, the air was like a flat iron for 20 times at 200 degrees Celsius and combed vigorously for 50 times. So the broken air was collected and then the weight was measured. So alpha-stat PC48 results in a lesser air breakage compared to SLS. That means alpha-stat PC48 not only prevents static buildups, not only prevent the moisture loss, but also protects your air from treatments that involves heat, which can cause your air become like more drying and more breakage. So if you want to formulate air care products with lesser air breakage claims, so you can achieve it by using alpha-stat PC48 in your formulation. So next, to see how PC48 can help in air care routines, especially when we talk about blow drying. So as we all know, that blow drying of damaged air can be very challenging routine for consumers because damaged air will be more hydrophilic and difficult to blow dry. Meanwhile, healthy air will be more hydrophobic and it's easier to blow dry. So for this test, the air traces were treated and the wet air was dried using blow dryer that placed at fixed distance from the air traces. So the weight of air was measured at every 2 minutes interval upon drying. So different from moisture loss. For blow drying, the air need to dry faster. The water need to evaporate from the surface of air, need to be higher. So higher is better. So again, the pink line is for alpha-stat PC48 and the purple line is for SLS. Alpha-stat PC48 shows faster drying compared to SLS. Since alpha-stat PC48 reduce air dryness and damage, it will increase the hydrophobicity of the air, allowing it to dry faster during the blow dry. So finally, to summarize my section, for finished products with claims like a moisturizing and anti-static effect, the formulators need to formulate products that can provide better protection from damaged air, preventing air loss or preventing air breakage, increase moisture retention, reduce static buildup. For these kind of claims and requirements, formulators can use alpha-stat PC48 without any doubt. So that's all from my sections. Thank you. I'll pass the presentation to Robles for more interesting claims and data. So here you go, Robles.
Thank you, Kumaran. Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to introduce you to smart hacks when you're formulating for color care, optimum hair combability, and matte shampoos with Stepan F40. In the same way as Renata and Kumaran mentioned before, Stepan F40 is a trustworthy ally that helps formulators to target the macro trends in hair care, specifically for personalization and efficacy. Stepan F40 meets the top shampoo formulating care in terms of color care, smooth hair, and mildness, with noticeable benefits in terms of fading resistance, optimum hair compatibility, and gentle cleansing. Please keep in mind that there are a lot of options of products available in the market for the shampoo formulation, but picking the right one needs to be based on chemistry knowledge and also to be focused on the macro trends in hair care. So what's the clever chemistry behind Stepan Personal 40? Its enchemic composition is sodium 1416 olefin sulfonate and cocamidopropyl and cocamidopropyl betaine. It looks like a hazy light yellow liquid source at 30% of actives. Some benefits for the consumer are exceptional mildness. It is also gentle on color-trick hair. And talking about the environment, it is readily biodegradable, and it is also non-tested on animals. Due to the efficacy in the manufacturing process, Stepan Personal 40 doesn't need heat processing when you're formulating shampoos, and it also delivers superior flash foam benefits. So that's it. Let's talk about the color fading mechanism of hair dyes. And for this exercise, please take into consideration the chemical structure of HC red number 3, one of the most popular ingredients used for the red shades formulation of hair care. So please take into consideration the shampoo incinerator number 1 with sodium lauryl ether sulfate, and opposite to the shampoo incinerator number 2 with sodium 1416 olefin sulfonate. So first mechanism, diffusion control. It is well known that colorants are highly polar molecules that can be classified as mono, di, or trinuclear ring dyes. It is well known that under all conditions, the larger trinuclear ring dyes rings more slowly than the smaller mononuclear dyes. And dye rings out from hair in diffusion control with relatively weak dye-to-hair interactions. Second mechanism, surfactant-colorant interactions. As it was mentioned before, colorants are highly polar molecules with an inner electrophile center in which surfactant nucleophiles can interact with and allow color fading. And nucleophilic substitution-like phenomena is being considered to explain this mechanism. Third mechanism, vulnerable binding sites. So for this mechanism, please take into consideration first the shampoo incinerator number 1 with sodium lauryl ether sulfate. It is well known that modes of detoxylation can ease the solubility of surfactants in water. And also with this solubility in this interaction between water and, of course, the surfactant, it is formed another complex between surfactant colorant and, taking into account the vulnerable forces that are participating in this interaction, it allows the detergency to happen in a faster way. This also happened in the second scenario with sodium 1416 olefin sulfonate, but in the absence of most of the detoxylation, the detergency is smoother. So let's talk about color benefits. And Stepan Personal 40 can protect color hair with wash longevity, and these benefits are even better when comparing with leading commercial sulfate-free products. In this chart, we are presenting data from hair tresses and wash with different formulas, and these tresses were dyed with red colorant. And for this assessment, it is important to mention that we assess commercial sulfate-free shampoo, commercial sulfated shampoo, and also 2 other prototypes from conventional chassis from SLES plus CIPB, and also Stepan Personal 40 dilution. So probably you're wondering, why do we select these dosages for the traditional chassis and also for the Stepan Personal 40 dilution? And for this, it is important to mention that we took into consideration a global benchmark study conducted by our global quality team. And after all the formulation, we selected these ratios from the traditional chassis and this dilution factor in the Stepan Personal 40 dilution to target the commercial sulfated shampoo and also the commercial sulfate-free shampoo to be compared in this assessment. So for your information, delta L is a value who can help us to measure the changes in white and black color reserves initial or unwashed condition. And as you can see here, after 10 washes, there is an improvement of 36% when you're comparing Stepan Personal 40 dilution with leading commercial sulfate-free product. This is all in terms of color fading resistance. And for your reference, here is displayed a picture of all the hair traces after the treatment. And as you can see, after the 10 washes, Stepan F40 looks pretty similar to the unwashed condition, showing the darkest appearance of all the prototypes. So let's talk about foam. Have you ever heard about the myth of sulfate-free technologies do not create enough foam as traditional alcohol ether surfactant does? Well, let's break it down. And here is presented data from Cera Foam Tester. And as you can see here, we were assessing the foam volume within different cycles from the same prototypes shown in the previous study, the same. And as you can see here, in terms of foam volume, the Stepan F40 dilution is pretty similar to commercial sulfate-free shampoo, showing good foam volume in the max foam parameter. For your reference, max foam is the maximum quantity of foam that is being produced during 20 mixing cycles. And as you can see here, Stepan F40 dilution and sulfate-free shampoo is almost equivalent during all the trial. So of course, we also have a high foam volume with the traditional chassis from SLES plus CAPV, but around the 11 mixing cycle, it starts to decay. And this is pretty related to the foaming structure. So let's see also the commercial sulfated shampoo. The foam volume is not comparable with the other prototypes. And for your reference, here is presented also other pictures related to the foaming structure that we have during all the trial after the 20 maxing cycles. And just keep in mind that the darkest the square, the smallest the bubble size, and the most stable structure we have. And as you can see here, Stepan F40 dilution, it's pretty similar to sulfate-free shampoo in terms of these squares. And they are almost equivalent in both parameters, foam volume and structure stability. So because you asked for it, Derek, please, could you play our pop-up video number 2? Thank you. Here we are shampooing hair traces with Stepan F40 dilution, and we are shampooing this with our dilution, and you can see that creaminess and that isofoaming. That looks really, really cool. And if we compare this demo with SLES plus CAPV chassis, we can see an improvement of foaming structure and also in ease of foaming. And, here we are presenting the benefit that is really, really superior when we're comparing with traditional chassis. So thank you, Derek. Could you please return to the presentation? Thank you. So let's talk about other benefits like the salon assessment. It is really, really important to mention that we conducted a salon test assessment with 5 people panel in which we assess different attributes that are being considered in the performance of shampoos. For these charts, it is important to mention that the closest to the vertex of the polygon, the best performance per attribute we have. And here is presented the assessment of Stepan F40 dilution in comparison with traditional chassis from SLES plus CAPV. And as you can see here, in each attribute, we rank the prototypes in this ranking. 1 was no difference with the control, 2 was slightly difference with the control, and 3 was noticeable difference with the control. So the control was SLES dilution at 10% of actives. And as you can see here, there is an important improvement of Stepan F40 showing superior wet and dry detangling with improved wet combability compared to traditional chassis from SLES plus CAPV. This is really, really amazing. Talking about mildness, Stepan F40 is the mildest ingredient when we're comparing with other alcohol ether sulfates. In this trial, we were monitoring the zinc score. For your reference and for your information, zinc score is the maximum quantity of zinc protein from corn that is being solubilized by different surfactants. And as you can see here, Stepan F40 is the mildest ingredient when we're comparing with traditional alcohol ether sulfates, and also when we're comparing with also other sulfate-free choices like sodium lauryl sarcosinate and sodium cocoyl isethionate. So that's all about Stepan FF40. So please keep in mind that we can formulate shampoos, picking the accurate surfactant technology to meet the consumer needs while targeting the macro trends of hair care. Let's return with Renata to complete our training.
Thanks so much, Fernando. We've gone through a few techniques and solutions for you all today, so I want to wrap up and leave you with your journey to shampoo success. So with that, right, you saw whether you're developing novel formulations or refining your portfolio, Stepan and our experts are here to support your hair claim needs. There are many, and we could spend full days, right, on each of these. Please reach out with any additional questions on these. We'll have a little bit of time of Q&A, but you really want that substantiation connection to the claims, to the product, so your folks and the folks that you're looking to produce these products for come back every day using the same types of products and are satisfied. We went through a few ingredients, some different types of claims that we looked at. How about the full formula? It's just one component, right, of a shampoo, and developing the full piece can take time. What we've done at Stepan and what is available to you all is the formulation inspiration in a bottle, no waiting required. So whether you're looking for a daily moisturizing shampoo or maybe a color care shampoo, Stepan has fully developed with all the bells and whistles these types of formulas and are available on our website for you to explore. These are just two examples based on our topics and our claims today, but there are hundreds of them to peruse and look at the different types of specific claims. Maybe the content, the naturality, your preservative of choice are on there, and you can filter based off of that selection. The different types of resources can also vary based on where you are in the development journey. You can see a little pop-up show up in your screen. Click on that link. It will give you all the different types of resources our team, our chemists, have put together to help you with your development journey. Maybe you're just starting off and need to understand what are the different ways to create a shampoo? What are those claims? We've got resources tailored for you all in that way. Maybe you need to explore more options. You understand, I know that I want sulfate-free types of shampoos. You can look at that type of resource as well. Or maybe you know exactly what you're looking for. I know I need this ingredient, I need this claim. We've got ways to help you with that as well and are happy to connect with any further questions. So click on that link if you'd like to explore and see the different types of resources available to you all in relevance to this webinar. And then finally, as I said, our experts, Fernando, Kumaran, around the globe are truly your partners for hands-on support. We can connect with a chemist around the globe for that personalized demonstration. Maybe you're looking for a very specific formulation troubleshooting. We're here to help you and get to that shampoo success for your formula as you develop it. You can do so by reaching out to your local sales representative, depending on where you are. And you can also contact us through UL Prospector. As we started with at the beginning, we talked about all things shampoo today, but mark your calendars. In our second part of this webinar series coming in October, we're going to talk about all things conditioner. It was that second bar on our graph of biggest retail value sections, and the ingredients and the different types of claims are specific and are vast as well for that category. So we're going to dive into that one in October. You can see another pop-up show up at the bottom left of your screen. If you'd like to subscribe and learn the exact date and timing and a little bit more on our agenda as we get closer to fall, go ahead and subscribe now, and we'll be sure to connect you with that information as we get closer to that webinar. With that, we want to thank you all for your time, whether it was this morning, afternoon, or evening, where you are in the globe. On behalf of Fernando, Kumaran, and myself, we appreciate you joining us, learning more about the shampoo ingredients and how Stepan can help you in your development journey. With that, we've got questions, and I'll hand it over to Derek to help facilitate our Q&A.
Wonderful. Just as a reminder to the audience, you can submit your questions using the question box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We'll get through as many of these as we can in the remaining time that we have for the webinar. We did have a few already come in. Kumar, we have one here for you. Alpha Step PC48 has a chemical structure similar to methyl ester sulfonate, MES. Are they chemically identical? If not, what are the differences between them?
Okay, thanks, Derek. Actually, alpha-stat PC48 and methyl ester sulfonate are totally different. There are a number of differences between these two molecules. First difference is the feedstock. Alpha-stat PC48 comes from coconut oil, but methyl ester sulfonate is palm. So that makes methyl ester, the carbon chain distribution will be like C16, C18 carbon. But alpha-stat PC48 is C12, C18 carbon distribution, mainly C12, C14. And at room temperature, alpha-stat PC48 will be in liquid form, and methyl ester sulfonate will be in a flakes. And then other benefits, other advantages of alpha-stat PC48 over methyl ester sulfonate is alpha-stat PC48 has good low temperature stability. So it can be stored as low as minus 8 degree, but methyl ester sulfonate below 0 degree, it will be solidified. So these are the common difference between alpha-stat PC48 and methyl ester sulfonate. So one more thing is alpha-stat PC48 can be used for personal care, can be used like home care and pet care. But methyl ester sulfonate is mainly meant for home care applications. Thanks, Derek.
Perfect. Renata, this next question is going to be for you. I want to develop a smoothing shampoo for curly hair, and I want a proposal of powerful active ingredients for this kind of shampoo.
Absolutely. We've looked at internally different types of hair when it looks at these tests. So if you're looking for specifically with the curly shampoo or the textured hair, the different types of ingredients, we'll talk a little bit about that in our conditioner webinar as well. So please do join us, but we can follow up as well and provide some of those resources for those specific claims. So certainly within the wheelhouse to help out with that one as well.
All right, perfect. And Fernando, this next one's for you. Why do most fading resistance assessments select red shades as colorants for evaluation?
Okay, well, let's take a look about the color fading mechanisms that we were discussing before. Please take into consideration the chemical structure of this dye. As it was mentioned before, colorants are highly molecules that high polar molecules that can interact with different surfactants. And because of this colorant is a mononuclear dye, one of the smallest molecules within the colorants family, it drains out from color hair in diffusion control with relatively weak dye to hair interactions. So this is mainly related to the structure, the one ring represented here in the structure, and also to the diffusion control in shampooing scenarios.
Perfect. Renata, I've got another one here for you as well. Do you recommend alpha-stat PC48 for use in body wash?
Absolutely. Today we're talking about shampoos. Many of these ingredients are multifunctional. Body wash is a very good element for alpha-stat PC48. Kumaran showed you the video of the loose and lacy foam, right? So it absolutely is applicable and can be used in that type of rinse-off space. What is exciting as well, we see that skinification trend coming into body wash. You see moisturizing body washes, you see hydrating body washes. So you can absolutely correlate and use alpha-stat PC48 in a body wash and expect the same type of substantiated results.
Then Kumar, this next one here is for you. What are the formulation considerations when using alpha-stat PC48 in high electrolyte systems like sodium chloride?
Okay. So, today the whole presentation, I was like mentioning about hard water tolerance. So since alpha-stat PC48 has excellent hot water tolerance, that means it is stable against like different types of electrolytes, including sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium sulfonate, calcium ions, and so on. So that means it can have like a high amount of electrolyte in the formulation, up to like for example, sodium chloride, it can be added up to 4 to 5%, it will be remain clear, it won't separate or precipitate. So it has high electrolyte stability.
Perfect. And then Fernando, this next one here is for you. Could step and blend FF40 help formulators to build viscosity in shampoos? And if yes, how?
Yes, of course. Due to blend composition with cocamidopropyl and cocamidopropylbetaine, and we can add pH regulators or electrolytes, to adjust the pH value within the formulation. And these molecules, cocamidopropyl and also cocamidopropylbetaine, can interact with these pH regulators to build viscosity. At this point, it is important to mention that we can formulate shampoos with just pH regulators, and with a possibility to avoid salt and claim, well, my shampoo is free from salt or free from sodium chloride. Of course, we can also build viscosity with sodium chloride, but here we have a possibility.
Renata, this one's here for you. Considering the skinification trend, do consumers still look for a lot of foam, especially stable foam?
So the trend itself, right, is looking for ingredients to be incorporated into a body wash or a shampoo. At the end of the day, that body wash better wash your body, that shampoo better wash your hair, right? So we know that foam, from a consumer perspective, is one of the first indicators of cleanliness or things working, right? If we run out of foam, we add more shampoo to our hair because we want more of that cleanliness. Now, the true scientific mechanism, right? We can sit and argue on foam being the correlator to clean, not always specifically the case, but the purpose of the foam from a visual perspective is really important to a consumer. So we still need those products to do, right, what the consumer is looking for. So foam is absolutely necessary, even with a skinification trend. The challenge is making sure the ingredients that we bring in from skincare for moisturization, right, don't diminish the foam. So that's why both Kumaran, right, and Fernando are showing ingredients that help support that while still also being functional to the shampoo. And we've talked a little bit about body wash as well. So it's an important balance. And I would say foam's still very important, right, to those categories themselves.
Perfect. And then, Kumaran, this one's for you. What is the salt curve behavior of PC48? Is it easy to build viscosity and formulation using the surfactant alone or with co-surfactants?
Sure, Derek. Like alpha step PC48 is sulfate free. So that means similar to other sulfate free surfactant, it also has some challenges in thickening. So even though it cannot achieve like a very high viscosity, but it's with secondary surfactants like CAPP and salt, it can achieve the minimum viscosity like 3000 ppm. But if you want even higher viscosity, alpha step PC48 is compatible with polymeric thickness. So you can use polymeric thickness for even higher viscosity. Thanks, Derek.
And then, Renato, this next one here is for you. Are all these tests done by Stepan or by a third party?
Yeah, an excellent question. All the data that you saw today specifically is completed by both Fernando and Kumaran, or either themselves or our folks in our lab. So we have a large portfolio and methodology that Stepan has developed and has in-house. So for today's webinar, those are all things that we do that we can help duplicate. I know there might be some different types of chemistries that folks are interested in. So that's something that we help from a individual perspective and are happy to do so. We will also do tests with third-party certifications and sites that have more complex equipment, more specific to consumer panel testing, right? So we work with those partnerships as well to get that type of data too. So it's a balance. And for today's webinar, you saw all things a la Stepan for this space. Thanks, Sarah.
And then, Fernando, this next one here is for you. Does FF40 require additional preservatives or does it come pre-preserved? Are there any known compatibility issues with cationic or botanical actives?
Okay. Stepan FF40 comes from pre-preserved sourcing. It doesn't need to be, added with other preservatives for the blend. But for the product, of course, you need to add other preservative technology to ensure the micro robustness of your product. So talking about the compatibility issues, due to its composition with cocamide mepa and cocamidopropylbetaine, we have charge in the blend that is not as reactive as the only anionic surfactant does. So when we are adding other cationic molecules or emollients or rheology modifiers, the charge density is almost neutralized because of the amphoteric surfactants in the blend. And of course, we recommend you to assess with different trials at lab to ensure there's compatibility, but with all that we have, the assessments and also the tracking from different application centers around the globe, it is compatible with cationic technologies and also actives, of course.
Perfect. And then Renata, I think we have time for one last question. And that one is, I want to formulate a shampoo for dogs. Is alpha PC48 suitable?
Yes. Pet care is growing, and we care just as much about our hair as those of our pets, and dogs and pet shampoos have grown as well. Now, this is a global webinar and we want to be specific. Each country, right, and region around the globe will have different registration requirements. Can speak to, US, you must have TSCA approval for pet care shampoos here in the US, for example. AlphaStep PC48 is TSCA approved, no concern using it in a dog shampoo as well. If there's specific regions, happy to follow up with that as well, but that is the key to pet shampoos. And we've created lots of different types of formulations with AlphaStep PC48 on dogs as well. Now, I would love to have some testing with a dog in the lab too, so we love to do that, but no problem using it in dog shampoos.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Thank you for attending today's webinar. Just as a reminder, we will be sending you a link to the recording of today's webinar, so you can watch it at any time and share it with others at your company. A representative from Stepan will reach out to you to answer all of the questions. We had a ton today, and we unfortunately just weren't able to get to all of them. Thank you again for attending, and we hope you have a great day.